Fear takes on many forms, lurking in the abyss, waiting for its moment to strike. Today, a physical embodiment of fear possesses unknown power. And this ring is the lair, a place where its true form comes to life.
He's the most efficient hunting machine in all of boxing.
In the ring, he does what monsters do, wreak physical havoc on someone else.
He's the type of monster that you can't kill.
He destroys his opposition. He demolishes them.
The par is frightening.
The way he sets up his opponent to be finished, there's something nasty that lurks inside that mind.
The monster has power.
Strength, skill, utter domination. But only one word truly sums it up.
This man grew up to be the monster.
Life has a beginning, a middle, and an end. The story begins in Zama, Japan.
Zama, Japan is ancient origins. It's been around for centuries and centuries. They even say prehistoric times. But what Zama is probably most famous for, Zama housed the Emperor Showa's imperial army. So through the town of Zama, you have to know that in the water, in the blood, there are warriors. I think Inoue, deep in his veins, he's got that blood that came from the Emperor's imperial army. Because it flows through the streams, you breathe in the air, there's a quiet confidence and there's warriors that come out of that town.
It has long been debated if a monster entered the world that way, or whether it became otherworldly after birth.
Inoue was born into boxing because his father, Shingo, was
A boxer. He's the son of a fighter. So that means it's in his disposition, it's in his earliest training, it's the way that he looks at himself.
That father-son relationship is always something that can be very tricky, very uplifting, very toxic. But it works with them.
in Japanese culture, you honor your parents. It's probably far less likely for Inoue to separate from his father than, say, an American fighter or a fighter from another culture.
He has been pushed to the brink by his father, and because of that, you have seen this incredible attention to detail, and he's brought out the best in his son.
Sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones that are least expected.
He comes off as very soft-spoken. He has these boy band looks where you wouldn't think this guy is one of the most destructive forces in all of boxing.
Generally speaking, a Japanese boxer, they're not prone or predisposed to self-promotion. You never belittle your opponent. You don't want to show too much confidence because that's looked at as being disrespectful, not only to your opponent, but to your sport.
It's like a foreign temperament to us. You know, we really want, like, Mike Tyson, I'm gonna eat your children. What we get with Inoue is something we're not familiar with. Okay, you said that about me, you're gonna beat me, okay. All right, see you in the ring, that's it.
Just because you the loudest dog don't mean you the baddest dog. I was always afraid of those guys that didn't talk, didn't say too much. He's that guy He don't talk. He don't say anything at all.
The Japanese culture is a very humble culture, but do not mistake humble for weak. Do not mistake kindness for the lack of ferocity. This guy is a beast.
The thing about monsters is they're inhuman, possessing powers never seen before.
Power is a gift. It's a gift from God. And I'm not even a religious man, but that power comes someplace from deep inside. Either you have it or you don't. You can teach boxing, you can teach how to throw a jab, but you can't teach power.
I've seen the biggest, most muscular guys that do all type of strength and conditioning workouts that can't put people down like that.
See, it's very rare. A lot of guys who can box because they don't have great power. Then a lot of guys who have unbelievable power never really develop their boxing skill. Inoue, he is that rare blend of a sound, solid boxer who has an incredible offensive arsenal.
I think the reason why he's so powerful is the technique behind it, his mechanics behind it. And you do it over and over and over in the gym until it's perfected. And now every shot is devastating.
To have power in your hands like that, it's relegated to the big guys. When you're that small, you're not supposed to have that much power.
He has something in his hand that no one else has, and it's basically a ball.
All monsters possess power, but it's what they do with that power that makes them legendary.
Inoue is definitely the real deal, and he's been the real deal from the start of his professional career.
The monster began his professional career with 3 straight knockouts, beginning with Filipino national champion Curio Collection, and following his debut with a first-round knockout of Thai national Naoya Inoue. Next up, Japan's #1 ranked light flyweight, Yuki Sano. Naoya Inoue finished him in the 10th. Within 1 year of turning pro, Inoue won the Japanese light flyweight title against future unified lightweight champion Ryoichi Taguchi. And less than 4 months later, he fought for the vacant OPBF light flyweight title against Gerson Mencio, winning it with a 5th-round TKO.
It really doesn't matter who he's fighting. This is the closest thing you have in boxing to a pure predator.
His first major world title bout would come in April of 2014 against Adrian Hernandez, who held the WBC light flyweight title. The monster dominated from start to finish, TKOing Hernandez in the 6th round to win the title. After winning the WBC light flyweight belt against Adrian Hernandez, the monster began his reign of terror, destroying Witawa Basapia to defend his title, before jumping up weight classes to fight Omar Narvaez for the WBC junior bantamweight title. It took Naoya Inoue just 2 rounds to snatch the title. And then, the monster went on a tear, defending his junior bantamweight title 7 times in a row, including his first fight on American soil. In May of 2018, Inoue jumped up in weight class again to take on longtime champion Jamie McDonald for the WBA bantamweight title. the monster dropped him with a brutal body shot. McDonald rose, only to be met with a barrage of punches that ended the fight in the first round.
I think the McDonald fight, first round knockout, was probably his first oh snap moment.
Up next, the World Boxing Super Series.
When I realized he was real was probably when he fought Juan Carlos Payano. The guy had never been stopped before. The way he stretched him with that right hand early is when I became a real believer.
That fight landed the monster on the cover of Ring magazine for the first time.
We were coming to our State of the Game issue where we list the best fighters in different categories. When he stepped up to a third weight class and wins back-to-back bouts by first round knockout, KO of the year, and he had entered in this World Boxing Super Series. So we knew if he would win that, we're talking about a pound-for-pound ranked fighter, we're talking about a Ring magazine champion. We decided to pull the trigger and put him on the cover. And it was then that we realized, oh, this is the first Japanese fighter to be solo on the cover of Ring magazine. So we made history, and that was a big deal.
Next up, a semi-final fight in the World Boxing Series against Emmanuel Rodriguez.
He was unbeaten. He was the IBF Bantamweight champion. And his team was pretty confident that they were going to burst this guy's bubble. They were disrespectful to Team Inoue. Rodriguez's trainer shoved Inoue's father during a media workout. Inoue didn't show any emotion at that time, or even when he was in the ring, but there did seem to be a little bit extra nastiness on his punches. He demolished Rodriguez, took him out in 2 rounds. We made the decision, you know what, we're gonna put him on the cover again.
The fact that Naoya Inoue was on the cover of Ring magazine twice is very meaningful.
Being on the cover of Ring magazine means that you've achieved a certain level of recognition in the sport. But I think that he's good enough to be on the cover of general interest magazines.
This was called creating a monster because he destroys his opposition. He demolishes them.
Boxing elite knew his power. All that remained was one war for the world to take notice.
When guys get in the ring with Inoue, they're a bit nervous. The only fighter that entered the ring with some real confidence was Nonito Donaire.
Many people believe this would be an early knockout or something that would be kind of a gold watch occasion for Donaire. You show up, you get beat, you get the gold watch. That's your retirement ceremony. But there is that old adage that all great fighters have that one last great performance in them. And Donaire showed his Hall of Fame credentials on that particular night.
It is billed as the monster versus the legend. That is exactly what it is. An 8-time 4-division champion on your screen. There was that check left hook from Donaire.
Donaire is a 4-division world champion, knows how to box, and he definitely, had Inoue reeling at times.
The warning signs for him that if he does overcommit, he will be.
It was clear from the onset that he was doing damage. There was blood coming from the nose of Inoue, from the mouth of Inoue.
Through them so far. Catches Inoue on the chin, short left hook. He's cut Inoue with that left hook.
When Inoue got hit hard in the second round, what people don't know is that from that point on, for the rest of the fight, Inoue was seeing double.
And that's the one that cut it, opened immediately.
He saw 2 Donaires for the rest of the night.
Oh, stiff right hand there from Donaire.
He fractured an orbital bone.
Oh!
He broke his nose.
Wow!
And he really was in some deep waters in that fight.
Just sensing a moment here in round number 9. And he has dragged Naoya Inoue into the deepest waters of his career here.
There is, I hate to say it, death before dishonor, that you do not surrender. It takes a lot for the Japanese fighters to pull themselves out. And I don't think quitting or letting himself be pulled out of that fight ever came to the mind of Inoue.
Into round number 10, and it's neck and neck.
Something awakened within him, and he fought back.
But Inoue knows he has to start strongly here.
To still be graceful and technical and to even outbox him at times, and your orbital bone is broken.
This is the home crowd now really getting behind him. It's a lovely left to the body. Lovely shot.
Oh, I'm done.
Lovely left to the body, Chris.
And Donaire was lucky. It was a long count. He actually reached a 10, but Donaire popped up. God, I don't know how he did it. He got up, and he continued the fight. You're like, oh crap, this ain't over.
Remarkable, remarkable round.
And the 12th round was just exhilarating.
This is ebbed and flowed from start to finish.
Amazing, and hats off to both guys. Fantastic stuff.
Well, they go toe-to-toe to the final bell, smiles all round.
He broke through barriers with that fight because you fought through a broken orbital bone and you were seeing double after round 2, and you kept on and you kept at it and you won. All the hats off, bro. Hats off to you.
Naoya Inoue wins the Muhammad Ali Trophy and unifies the WBA Super and IBF Bantamweight.
After he beat Nonito Donaire, he found out that Donaire had promised his kids that he would come home with that Muhammad Ali trophy, but he lost. But once Inoue found out, he took the trophy and gave it to Donaire, and Donaire was able to bring it home to his kids. And he did that out of love and brotherhood. Stuff like that shows the character of a fighter, and I think that's special. When people find out stories like that, they become interested, no matter whether they like boxing or not.
And the real superstars are class acts. When you look at Ali, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo, of course, Inoue, he's in that group. And I do believe within a year and a half, maybe 2 years, he becomes a crossover superstar. Not only Japan, Asia, but worldwide.
The Monster's second fight in the U.S. accelerated that rise.
Here with you, the MGM bubble, as Inoue is ready to take on Jason Maloney.
I think people were looking forward to the Maloney fight because Inoue had been out of the ring for a long time, and he had to heal from those injuries that he sustained in the Donaire fight. There were those questions. There were questions on whether Inoue would have doubts or if there would be pressure on him returning to America during the pandemic.
I know Jason Maloney. I know how good he is. I know how tough he is. And I know how determined he was for this particular fight. He was so confident. He had trained well. Everything for this particular moment had gone his way. He got the fight he wanted. Guess what? Didn't matter at all.
As soon as Inoue landed the first shot against Maloney, I knew the fight was going to be over shortly.
Took his spirit with that knockdown. Inoue has the potential to take his soul.
I felt that Inoue outclassed him in terms of his boxing, and it was just a matter of time that he would get him out of there by the middle rounds.
Really putting on the pressure as much here in the 7th as he was in the previous couple rounds.
And the finishing shot was an absolute artwork when it comes to counterpunching.
Another knockdown in the final 10 seconds of the round.
Maloney started to punch before his, and he moved to the left to get out of the range of the punch, just in case the punch would have hit him. And then he let his right hand go over the top.
And by the time Maloney actually sees the punch, he's basically on the canvas.
Thunderous knockout of Jason Maloney.
With the Monster now on American soil, he seeks to leave his mark, like another fighter from across the Pacific.
When you talk about Manny Pacquiao, right? It's a long road to catch up to that guy's career, right? To his accolades. I mean, he's the most decorated fighter in history in terms of weight classes and titles. But that explosive, exciting type of style, Inoue possesses that.
I haven't seen that speed and that power since Manny Pacquiao. Remember the first time I fought Manny Pacquiao, and when punches were flying past me, I can literally hear them. So I'm pretty sure it's the same with Inoue.
And that is it. History is made in Tokyo, Japan.
They're both 5'5", both same reach, 67 inches. Both have very fast feet, move in and out very quickly, and they're both Asian. But Manny Pacquiao was like a piece of clay thrown at Freddie Roach, and Freddie Roach molded it. Inoue is straight out the gate, a fine-tuned, well-oiled machine.
Inoue is he's more technical, I believe, than Manny Pacquiao. He's more precise, more accurate with his punches, nothing wasted. Inoue throws just the right amount of punches at the right time, all the time, which is extraordinary in the sport.
He's an anomaly. He's special. I promise you, if he just learns to say hi, he'll be the most famous fighter ever if he continues to win.
While much of the story about the monster has already been written, the greatest chapters lie ahead.
Dasmarinas is your typically tough, rugged Filipino fighter. For Inoue, this is another way to reintroduce himself and reset himself to the American audiences.
You're gonna get mayhem. You're gonna get one man imposing his will on the other. And it's entirely possible, if not almost probable, that you're gonna get an oh moment from Inoue. He almost needs that conclusive finish because you have to live up to that when your nickname is the Monster.
Paving through an entire path and pulverizing opponents, he's really made a name for himself strictly because of he is a knockout monster.
His fighting style is undeniable, and he will continue to gain fans. He will continue to win titles in other divisions. I see nothing but success. Nothing but success for Inoue.
This guy is going to be a worldwide star in short order for sure.
You know, when you're special, you're special. You're willing to take the risk to be great. And if he's willing to do that, sky's the limit for him.
There's still so much of this story to be told.